Hello, guys. This is Thomas Tapia here, and well, here's my idea for an experimentation project. And I have always suffered from lack of focus on my professional life, so I have tried to use different techniques in order to improve my focus. Um, and this is a very good opportunity for me to test two techniques um, and finally see which one of them is the best one in order to improve my productivity. Those techniques, probably you might have heard of the first one, which is the Pomodoro technique. I'll be explaining what it is about later in this video, and my own workflow technique, which I will also be explaining later in this video. Okay. Here in this last part of the slide, you will see the link to the post I have written in Coursera, so you might have a look at the explanation of the project I have in mind. So let me start by explaining a little bit about what the Pomodoro technique is, and you can read a little bit more about it in the link that you can see at the bottom of this slide. Okay, and so basically let me read the definition found on that link. Get your timer and set it for 25 minutes. Then you start the timer and start working. You focus on your work and don't stop for 25 minutes. When the timer goes off, stop working and take a short 5-minute breaks. That's one Pomodoro. So a Pomodoro is pretty much the combination of 25 minutes of really focused work and 5-minute break. You repeat this for 4 times, okay, and then you complete a cycle. After that, you will take around 15 to 30 minutes to have a longer break. So that way you make sure your brain is fresh and you'll work more productively. Now, let me start explaining the second technique I'm going to use, which is pretty much the technique I've been using all my life. And basically what I do is I write a list of all the tasks I have to do. I do this the previous night, okay? So I write a list of all the activities I need to get done. And after I have all that list, I have a clearer picture of all the things I have to do. And then I start categorizing the ideas in order of importance. So, being number one, the one I need to get done first because of its importance, and the bigger the number, the less important the task is. Okay, so I basically start working on those tasks and get them done as soon as possible. Okay, with this my own technique, I haven't taken the time to measure it, and it has come or it has appeared as common sense use and my own experience. So I haven't really measured how productive I am with that, but in the end, what matters to me is how many crossed out tasks from the list I have done. So I measure my productivity in that way, on a very empirical way, with no real numbers taken out of that. Okay. So with this experiment, I pretty much try to find out which of those two techniques will work better and which one will yield the most results. Okay. But with what I get more stuck on is basically to decide what methodology to follow in order to measure it. So I have come up with a methodology that I hope works okay. Okay. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'll pick a book I really want or need to read and I feel compelled to read. And what I'll do is I'll apply the two techniques I have described before, but with the following rules. Number one, let me turn to the next slide. The rules, as you can see them here, yes? I'll be working for 2 hours at the same time of the day. What is that? Like in the afternoon. Why? Because at that time I can find quality periods of time to work, and that's going to be 2 hours and 15 minutes, more or less. Why did I choose the 2 hours and 15 minutes? Pretty much because the complete cycle of a Pomodoro is that long, 2 hours 15, 2 hours 30 minutes. And I'll be working on the technique 2, my own technique, for the same period of time. In the end, I will measure how good my productivity was, okay? I'll be using the first technique for the first week and the second technique for the second week. In the end, or at the end of the 2 weeks, I'll assess the results and then define which of the techniques worked best for me. So when it comes to measuring the productivity, what I thought about was to measure the quantity of words I read that week, in the different days of the week that I use the different techniques, okay? Why did I decide to measure words? Well, basically because it's difficult to measure, for example, by pages, as I had thought about, because not all books are the same, because the pages are of different size in terms of the text that is there. So I didn't find it to be a useful way to measure my productivity, okay? Also, as I said before, I'll be measuring at the end of the 2 weeks the amount of words read and covered by each technique, and I will always have to keep an eye, or will keep an eye, on any productivity improvements that I can make on the different techniques and implement them in all my life goals. I mean, the technique that is the winner out of this experiment. Yeah, that's pretty much my project, or my experimentation project. If you got this far on the video, I really would like your input. Yes, if you have some, and please do post it on the forum where I wrote the description of my procedure. Okay. There's some more information of the things I had already mentioned. Okay. And thank you very much, guys. So talk to you